To start a new drawing, click this drop down arrow by the Autocad icon, click new. And since I'm using millimeters, I'm going to use Acadiso 3D template for metric units and click open. I'm just going to arrange my window. So go to view, tile vertically. I'm going to move my reference drawing to the left. So click anywhere here on the screen and click tile vertically again. And make sure to work on parallel projection by clicking this drop down arrow and select parallel. Wait. I'm gonna adjust my screen. So click this drop down arrow and select parallel. And I'm gonna start working from front view, which is this one here. So go to custom view and select front. And the first thing I'm gonna do is draw a line from midpoint to midpoint. So line. So type L for line. Click anywhere on the screen. Move your cursor downward. Make sure to turn on your ortho mode. And object snap tracking, object snap, and selection cycling. And enter 247 millimeters. Another line. From endpoint, move to the left. And I'm going to draw a line from midpoint to this point, which is half of 250. So 250 divided by 2 and enter. Move downward for 24 units, which is the thickness of the flange. Another line from endpoint, travel to the left and enter 226 divided by 2. Move upward for 24 units. Now I'm going to create another layer for construction line. So go to home and select layer properties. Click this new layer icon. Click the box and index color. I'm gonna select red. Click OK and close. Now make that red layer current. So I'm gonna draw construction lines. So just hover over, don't click from the endpoint, and move your cursor to the right, and you can see that green dashed line. Just follow that and snap that X and go back to the left and enter 48 units, which is this one here. Because I'm gonna do an arc, a 3-point arc, and I need that corner, this corner here, and this corner. Now another line from midpoint to the left for 77.99. Enter. Another line. So hover over, don't click from the endpoint. Move your cursor to the right and snap that X. Move to the left again and enter 48 units. Now I'm going to change my layer to layer 0 to create the arc. And inside the draw panel, click this drop down arrow and select 3-point arc. Click that endpoint, endpoint, and this endpoint. Now I'm going to offset that arc, and as you can see here, the thickness for this body is 18 units as shown here. So O for offset and enter 18. Click this arc and click here. Now I'm going to erase those construction lines. So delete and draw a line from this point to a perpendicular point, in point to perpendicular point. Now I'm going to trim. So TR for trim command, enter twice. Remove this one, remove this line here in between, remove that and click that, and remove this one. Now I'm going to copy this object because I'm going to use it later. So copy and move it somewhere here. Now join the segments. So type J for join command and select the whole thing. I'm going to check if it's all joined. No. So J, this one is join. I'm going to join this one. Let's check again. Yeah, we're good. So mirror this object. Specify first point of mirror line, in point to in point, and enter. Now I'm gonna revolve this object. So REV for revolve command. Select this object, right click, enter, and specify axis start point. You can start from here, go downward. As long as it's straight, you can click anywhere, or you can click that end point, and you can enter 0 or 270 degrees and enter. Now I'm gonna hide this object because it's easier for me to create a 2D for this flange here, which is also the one there, and looking from side view, this flange. So select the object, right click, hover, don't click, hover over isolate, and select hide objects. Now I'm gonna bring back my layer 1 for construction line, and I'm gonna draw a line from the midpoint to this tip here, or somewhere here, perpendicular point, and bring the line down to 72 so I could locate the center of the flange. So make sure this one is front. So line from end point to the right for 186 units, and bring your cursor downward for 72 units. So this end point is gonna be the midpoint. Now I'm gonna draw a line, so I'm gonna change this back to 0 layer. So draw a line, maybe somewhere here, and enter 226, which is the diameter of the flange, and move this one. So move from midpoint to the end point. Now I could delete that red color and this one. Now the thickness of this flange is 24, as shown here. This one here. So I'm gonna offset. So O for offset, enter, and enter 24. Click this line and click somewhere here. Line again, end point to end point, another line, connect the end points. Now I'm gonna draw a line from midpoint and just hover over, and as long as it's straight, you can just track, move your cursor downward, snap, and enter. Now for the whole of the flange, the diameter is 96. So what I'm gonna do is offset this one. So O for offset, and enter 96 divided by 2. Click this one, click above that line, click this one, and click below that line. And the thickness of this wall is 18 units. So O for offset again, and enter 18. Now click this line, click above that line, click this line, and click below that line. Now I'm gonna bring my drawing to southeast isometric. So I'm gonna change direction on my z-axis vector inside the coordinates panel. Click anywhere and move it to this direction. Now I'm gonna draw the circle. So from midpoint, snap that end point, another circle, snap that end point to end point here, repeat circle, and snap that. Now I'm going to extrude these two circles. So inside the modeling panel, select extrude command and just snap that end point. Right click to repeat extrude, select that circle and extrude it up to this point. Now I'm going to bring back my hidden objects. So just right click anywhere on the screen, hover over isolate, and select an object isolation. Now I'm gonna combine the objects. So inside the solid editing panel, select union command, select this one here, and this one, except for that inner cylinder that I'm gonna use to subtract, and enter. Now subtract command, select the object you want to keep, right click, and select the object that you want to use to subtract. There you go. Now bring your drawing to top view, and I'm gonna slice this object so it's easier for me to manipulate the compartment inside or to manage. So go to solid, slice, select the object you want to slice, right click, and specify start point of slicing plane. You can either start from here or from the center. So click that, go sideways, and Autocad is asking to specify a point on the desired side, so it's gonna be above the cutting plane, so click anywhere here. Now I'm gonna bring my drawing to maybe to front view. There you go. And I'm just gonna turn off the grid, and as you can see here, there's this part of the flange that's sticking in, so that's why I keep this one to cut that portion. So what I'm gonna do is delete those, this one and this one, delete that, and draw a line to connect the endpoints, and snap that endpoint. Now I'm gonna join the segment, so J for join command, and just window the whole thing. Now this is one object. I'm gonna revolve this one, so you can either go to home and click this drop down arrow and select revolve, or you can type in REV. So select the object you want to revolve and specify axis start point from that endpoint downward, and either type in either 0 or 360 degrees and enter. I'm going to change the color of this one to red, so it's easier to visualize. And I'm going to use this object, move from the center. You can see it's center because of that circle icon, and click the center here. So shift right click, make sure to click the center, and use that one to subtract. So subtract command inside the solid editing panel, click this one, this object that you want to keep, right click, and select the object that we want to use to subtract. Now it's clean. I'm just gonna move this object to the other side or somewhere here, so I could delete those unwanted objects. Now I'm gonna draw a line from this endpoint up to this wall here, in between these two walls. So what I'm gonna do is inside the solid editing panel, so copy edges, copy this edge, enter, and specify a base point. You can select a spot here and space it back on the same spot, exit and exit again, and change. I'm just gonna change this to layer 1 so it's easier to visualize, and make layer 1 current. Copy edges again, copy this edge, enter, specify a base point. I could use this endpoint here and paste it back on the same spot, exit and exit again. Now I'm gonna offset these arcs, so O for offset, and enter 9, because I want it to be in between these walls, because I don't want to leave a gap again. O for offset, accept 9, click this arc and click somewhere here. What's going on? All right. There you go. Now I'm going to draw a line from endpoint of that arc and click somewhere here and trim. So TR for trim command, enter twice. I'm going to trim it somewhere here, and I could delete these two arcs. Now I'm going to draw a circle. So bring this drawing to southeast isometric, and change the direction of the z-axis vector and point it upward. So circle, snap the midpoint, so shift right click, select midpoint of this line, and snap that endpoint and extrude this one downward for 26 units. And I'm just gonna change the layer for this one to 0 and combine the objects. So select union command inside the solid editing panel. Select that. Now it's one object. I'm just gonna delete those arcs. And I'm gonna bring this to top view. I'm gonna slice that. So solid, slice. And you can start from this end point, go sideways, specify a point on the desired side, select this above the cutting line. And now I could apply, I'm gonna annotate this one first. So radius, and the radius for this one is 10. So go to solid, select fillet edge, right click, select radius and enter 10, and select this edge and this edge here, enter and enter again to accept. Alright, now I could bring my drawing to top view because I'm gonna mirror this one. So MI for mirror command, select the object you want to mirror. From that center, move sideways and accept no, enter. Now I'm gonna union the objects, so just window the whole thing. Now this is one object. Now I'm gonna create a loft on top here, so which is this one here and this line here. So C for circle, snap the center, type D for diameter option, and diameter of that circle is 90. And the bottom one for the loft is 77.14. So I'm gonna create another circle, snap the center, type D for diameter option, and enter 77.14. Now I'm gonna move this smaller circle. So move from, because I wanna paste it here on this face. So move. So I'm just gonna use the quadrant as base point and paste it down to the lower quadrant. Now if I change this to wireframe, you can see this one on that face. So use so go to home, click this drop down arrow and select loft, click this circle and that circle, enter and enter again. Now I could change this to X-ray and use subtract command. Select the object you want to keep, right click and select the object you want to use to subtract. There you go. And the next thing to draw are the bolt holes. Just gonna change this to conceptual. And the guide, the radius of the guide is 100, this one here. So I'm gonna bring my drawing to top view. Draw a circle, so C for circle, snap that center, hover on the side because I want to snap that very center there. Shift right click and select center there and enter 100. Now create another circle to quadrant and enter 9 and array that circle. So A, and select from the selection here, you can select array polar, select that circle, enter and specify center point of array, click that center, right click, click number of items and change it to 5, so enter 5 and enter again. Now I'm gonna delete the circle, select this one, right click and select similar, extrude and just click that quadrant here. Now use subtract command, select this object that you want to keep, right click and select the smaller cylinders, repeat subtract, we miss these two and enter. Now I'm gonna create the bolt holes for this flange. First, change the direction of your Z-axis vector or Z-axis vector. Click anywhere on the screen and just point your cursor to that direction and type C for diameter option and snap the center. Shift right click and snap the center there. Once that the circle shows, just snap and type D for diameter option and enter 179. So this is the guide, this one here. For this circle here is the guide for the bolt holes. Now I'm going to draw another circle. So C for circle, snap the quadrant, shift right click and select quadrant and type in 9 for radius. Now I'm going to array that circle. So A, just type in A and select array polar. Select the object you want to array, right click and specify center point of array. Snap that center, shift right click again and just hover over and snap, right click and select number of items and enter 5 and enter again. Alright, so I'm just gonna delete this circle and select one of the circles here, right click and select similar and extrude this one up to just up to a quadrant. We don't want to bring it all the way, otherwise we're gonna poke a hole through the other parts of the object. So just shift right click and look for quadrant there. Now I'm gonna use subtract command to select the object, right click and select the object that you want or objects that you want to subtract. Alright, this one here, this one, and move it closer, and this one, right click. Okay, we missed the other ones again. Subtract, select this one and this one. There you go. And I'm gonna poke a hole through from the bottom, and the diameter for that is 96. So C for circle, I'm gonna change again direction of the UCS. So Z-axis vector, point it upward. C for circle, snap that center, type D for diameter option and enter 96. And I'm just gonna extrude this one up to a quadrant somewhere here or up to a center here. Oh, just quadrant there, and subtract, select that and select this object. And I think we're done. I'm just gonna change this to I think we need to wait. Okay, I'm just gonna annotate this one. I think we need to smoothen the edges. So this is 5. Alright, and then what I'm gonna do is go to solid, select fillet edge inside the solid editing panel, right click and select radius option and enter 5. And just click this edge here. Turn it around, click this one here. Enter and enter again. And change this to shaded, no, realistic is better. And there we go. Now we're done with the body of the steam stop valve. And please subscribe and click that bell icon to get notified for the next tutorial. We're gonna draw another part to complete the steam stop valve. So this is, by the way, the part 2. The first one is the hand wheel. You can look for it at my videos that I just posted. Anyway, I'll see you again. Bye bye.